You are watching WCCO
After hour of songs to sing along with on the Light FM 103 WLTE.
You are watching WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. All today's news with Mike Walcher, Debbie Ely. Dr. Walt Lyons has weather. Tom Hanneman has sports. And now, this is the 6 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. 2 Minneapolis police officers have been put on a 3-day leave with pay as the department investigates the shooting death of a North Minneapolis man.
The 2 officers shot and killed a man last night as they were protecting a 13-year-old boy who had been threatened by the man with a gun. Tonight, police know that the weapon was a pellet gun. Daryl Savage talked to North Minneapolis residents who witnessed the deadly shooting.
The body of 25-year-old Mark Richards lay in the street for more than 2 hours as a reminder of what happened. Officers shot Richards twice with a shotgun when he refused to put down a gun he was pointing at the boy. Today, all that remains are the markings of a crime scene and the bad memories for the people who saw it.
I was real scared when I was in bed last night. You know, I knew nothing could happen, but yeah, kind of makes me want to move.
There has been vandalism in the neighborhood lately, and witnesses say Richards got angry when 3 boys started riding their bicycles near a car parked across the street. 2 of the boys talked with us.
And he threatened us, don't come back or you'll be dead.
Jamie then called the police, and by the time they arrived, Richards was pointing the gun at another boy.
That's when the cops got there. Told him to drop the gun. He did it. He didn't even look at the cops. So he shot 2 times.
Richards may not have even heard the police tell him to drop the gun. Witnesses say he was wearing a Walkman as he approached the youngster. The officers were not in Richards' line of sight. Today, police are defending the shooting.
An officer can use deadly force when his life or somebody else that he's responding to is in imminent danger of great bodily harm or death. And that was the situation last night.
Neither the boys who were threatened nor the other witnesses say they know why it happened. Richards had been living here at 903 29th Avenue North for less than a month.
This is my really first time seeing him. But he looked like he's a pretty cool person, and he just come like crazy or something.
It'll be a while before the witnesses can forget what happened here, because on Monday they'll have to answer the questions all over again when the routine grand jury investigation starts. Daryl Savage, WCCO Television News, North Minneapolis.
The Minneapolis Police Department will also be launching its own internal investigation of the shooting. Last night's incident was the second this summer in which Minneapolis police shot and killed a person who pulled out a gun. On July 15th, Officer Bob Thunder shot 31-year-old Gerald Witten, an alleged lookout at a crack house. Bob Thunder was cleared in that shooting. And on May 11th of this year, police in South St. Paul shot a man waving a cigarette lighter that looked like a pistol. Mark Sinclair was killed in this shooting. Police in Jackson, Minnesota are investigating the murder of 56-year-old Art Storm. His body was found near his front door. The cause of death appears to be a gunshot wound, and officials believe he may have interrupted a burglary attempt. There are no suspects in custody. And New Ulm police say they are investigating the knifing death of a 33-year-old businessman. William Schaefer was the owner of Jake's Pizza. His body was discovered in his apartment above the restaurant. An autopsy is being performed, and police say they have no suspects in this case either.
6-year-old Nicole Mau is still missing tonight, despite a massive search effort that ended late this afternoon. Police believe the East Bethel girl was kidnapped from her bed early yesterday morning. They arrested an East Bethel man yesterday afternoon after Nicole's mother received a telephone call. The voice said, "Hello, Ma, this is Nikki. I'm fine. I'm with Ron." The man in custody is the only person the family knows by the name Ron. He recently had an argument with Nicole's grandfather. Last night's search of an East Bethel cornfield ended without a clue. This morning, searchers were back, and as Terry Sater reports, new clues were discovered, including a note believed to be from Nicole's kidnapper.
About 100 people began searching for Nicole Mau this morning. Sheriff's deputies, reserve officers, and friends of the Maus combed about 20 square miles of woods and farm fields on foot and by air. It was a sleepless night for Pam Mau. Her daughter had been missing for more than a day, and still no word since Nicole spoke to her mother by telephone yesterday morning from an unknown location. Nicole's mother is holding on to the word she heard from her daughter. and the support of their friends.
Oh, I have a whole lot of friends that I didn't know I had. And I want to thank everybody for being here for me and doing all the wonderful things you're all doing. And I love you all. And if anybody has any information on Nicole, please contact the Anoka Sheriff's Office. Please. Please.
Then, late this morning, the Maus discovered another piece of evidence that authorities say may link the same suspect to other clues in the girl's abduction.
My son, second oldest, went down to the mailbox. We hadn't gotten our mail yesterday, and he left a note in there. It's on a piece of newspaper, and it says, "Hi, Mike, be calling you soon, Ron." And we had the investigator come back out, and he picked it up.
The handwritten note is being analyzed by detectives, and investigators say they also discovered a piece of clothing in a grassy area of an open field near Nicole's home. Search dogs were sent in to see if they could pick up Nicole's scent. Authorities would not describe what they found and weren't sure if it's linked to the kidnapping. But detectives say the clothing had only been in the field for a couple of days and was an unusual discovery. But for Nicole's parents, there were more questions than answers.
What are you going to do? My wife is breaking down a lot, and I just try to tell myself to think the best until you find something out. That's all you can do.
Authorities say the suspect is starting to talk with detectives, and they say that, combined with other evidence in the case, will hopefully lead investigators to Nicole. Terry Sater, WCCO Television News, East Bethel.
Late this afternoon, Anoka County authorities told WCCO Television that the clothing found by detectives is probably not linked to Nicole's disappearance. Here's a description of 6-year-old Nicole Mau. She has blonde shoulder-length hair, hazel green eyes. She stands about 3.5 feet tall. Her mother believes she was wearing bedclothes. If you have any information which could help locate Nicole, please call the Anoka County Sheriff's Department at 427-1212, 427-1212. Anti-abortion activists today demonstrated outside St. Paul Ramsey Medical Center. The protesters called the event a Jericho March, designed to collapse the walls of abortion in this country. March organizers say they hope to extend their boycott of the hospital and increase public awareness of the abortion issue. They claim their protests have had an impact on hospital policies. Representatives of St. Paul Ramsey Hospital say they provide all types of care to their patients in response to community needs.
Well, the road continues to haunt the Minnesota Twins. The team lost its 5th straight today, all of those losses on the road, this latest one in Boston. Tony Parker has more now from the Sports Center. Tony, this race in the AL West getting mighty tight.
Yeah, and it hasn't been much of a race for the Twins, has it?
Nope.
You know, Wade Boggs has become one of the finest pure hitters in baseball over the past few seasons, and Twins pitchers have helped Boggs hone his skills. Today, Boston beat the Twins 6-5, and the difference was Boggs' 21st homer of the year. It came in the bottom of the 7th inning here off Twins rookie Les Straker. Gary Gaetti had a hit a 3-run shot in the top of the inning that tied the score at 5-5, but Boggs nailed Straker's pitch at the knees and brought the Twins to their knees for the 5th time in a row. Going into today's game, the Twins led Oakland by 3 games, but Oakland beat the Yankees 6-0, so now they lead by just 2. But the good news is the Twins finish up on the road tomorrow and then come back home to face Detroit on Monday night. The Twins' road record is now 24-41. Well, maybe we'll have better news later on tonight. The Vikings will play host to Indianapolis in preseason NFL action tonight. The game in the Dome will start in about an hour. Channel 4 will televise the game. We've been getting calls. We'll start at 7. We hope to show you a victory instead of a loss like last week in New Orleans. But, of course, we all know these games don't count. It's just more fun if you win. Mark Rosen will do the play-by-play tonight with help from Joe Sensor and Bob Lertzema, and we'll talk to Mark live in a little while on the sports.
All right, very good. Thank you for that update, Tony.
We have a sad note to report this evening. Leonard Baby Doo Caston has died. He was well known in the Minnesota jazz and blues music community as an eloquent and buoyant blues pianist. He moved to Minneapolis in 1970, where he was playing in local clubs and lounges. He was a featured artist in this concert film entitled Survivors, The Blues Today. Baby Doo died early this morning of heart failure. He was 70 years old.
But I just want to make love to you. Love to you. I'll tell you what, now let's get together. The man who wrote this tune, bring him up here with a nice big hand. Mr. Willie James Dixon. How about a hand for him? Big Dixon. Well,
Pacific Pool and Patio is having its gigantic summer pool sale. Swim now, pay later. No payments until spring of 1988. Today's pool prices at a low 9.9 simple interest financing rate. Call today for a free yard evaluation. Pacific Pool and Patio. We're not best because we're biggest because we're best. Brooklyn Center, Burnsville, Minnetonka, or North St. Paul. Call any one of our 4 easy locations today.
You might not take your eye care quite as seriously as we do at Pearl.
Cover your eye.
But you should.
No, just one eye.
In fact, a thorough eye exam is so important, Pearl will now pay for it when you buy a pair of glasses.
Okay, read the bottom line, please. E. E. There is no E.
Look for the Pearl coupon and complete details in TV Guide or your local paper.
I think she needs glasses, Mom.
Members of Clayton Lonetree's family today began to assess the impact of yesterday's guilty verdict against the Marine. A jury of Marine officers found the St. Paul native guilty of 13 counts of spying while on the guard staff at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. Lonetree's brother, Craig, says the family anticipated the verdict because the defense did not have an opportunity to present vital evidence. He also speculated as to why the government chose his brother for this trial.
And I think they thought, well, let's make a scapegoat out of somebody. And they probably knew my brother's national own descent, and they thought, well, who knows, maybe we pick him up, he's probably from a reservation.
Defense attorneys say they will appeal the verdict. Sentencing will come Monday in Virginia. 2 of the counts carry a sentence of life imprisonment.
Members of the Minnesota Humane Society met today in St. Paul to try to revive their organization. About 30 members and former officials of the society discussed legislative attempts to dissolve their organization. The society has been inactive since the spring of '86, when the board voted to disband because of financial trouble. Critics say the society has been mismanaged and should not be resurrected, but a former director says state action is hasty.
There's a desire by the Department of Administration to resolve an issue that has been kind of placed in their lap during the past year, and I think they're looking for a way to just get rid of it and to not have to deal with it, and the proposal to dissolve is one of those ways.
Meeting organizers say they'll attempt to maintain the society without state funding. Well, the Minnesota legislature will soon hit the road to outstate areas. Lawmakers will hold a mini session of 30 committee meetings next month in Mankato. That draws praise from Democrats and charges of waste from independent Republicans. The first ever outstate session is designed to reach voters outside the Twin Cities metropolitan area. More sessions will be held in October and November. And all of this does cost money. The taxpayers will foot the bill more than $10,000.
As we all know, the High Bridge in St. Paul is open again, but merchants who survived the bridge's closing still want to celebrate. So they put on the 3rd annual Sail to the Bridge and Back Festival. They closed Smith Avenue for a mile-long block party with sidewalk sales, entertainment, and food stands. Merchants used block party sales the past 2 summers to boost business, and it worked so well they're doing it again.
Well, we're really pleased to have the bridge open again. It's been 3 years without any traffic here on the street, and we're very happy to get things going again today. And all the people on the street for the celebration, it's just great to see everybody out having a good time.
The organizer, the Smith-Dodd Business Association, hoped that 30,000 people would attend the sale today. It was a cool one today across much of the state.
But not too cool for some hot skiing at Lake Phelan. We'll have that and Walt's forecast coming up.
Okay, now the first thing you do when cleaning fuel injectors is to make sure you have plenty of Conoco unleaded gasoline.
Yeah. Conoco's unleaded gasolines with Power Scrub clean your engine's fuel system.
All right, then you spray the left.
So your car runs smoother.
And then you scrub to the right.
With more power.
And then you fire! Any questions?
Get Power Scrubbed with Conoco unleaded gasolines.
It's preseason football at its best.
The Vikings battle the Colts live from the Metrodome tonight at 7 on Channel 4, your Viking station.
Today's cooler weather reminds us all that fall and school can't be very far off. This afternoon, a dozen Ridgedale merchants put on a back-to-school fashion show. Youngsters modeled this fall's popular plaids, denims, sweaters, and brand-name clothes. After the fashion show, some leading model scouts met with some of the show's promising young models and awarded one of them a professional photographic session.
It's getting to be cool enough to start wearing fall clothes.
I think so. And tomorrow it's going to be about 30 days ahead of time, so to speak. We have temperatures typical of the middle or later part of September, as we did today. And we're not going to have any rain, which is good news. People are still trying to dry out. We've had an awful lot of it in the last 30 days. We got 3 1/4 inches, roughly, for the month of August, almost an inch above normal. The year of 26 2/3 inches, nearly 8 degrees above normal. But the precipitation has been pushed south, along with the cold front that brought us the cool. Radar is basically inactive. We just have a nice display of ground clutter for your entertainment. South of us and east of it, plenty of rain there. 1 to 2 inch rains coming in Nebraska and southern Iowa. And earlier today, up to 3 inches of rain fell in the Youngstown, Ohio area. But that's not going to bother us because the front is well away from us. We have high pressure. This is sort of a Canadian wintertime event, which is now moving down. It's going to bring a little bit of a chill to the region and also generally fair skies. Last night, 30s dropped down to Williston in North Dakota. It was 46 in International Falls. Still plenty warm south of that front. The summer is alive and well, I assure you. But at least for 2 or 3 days, we're going to be away from that type of heat. Down into the hundreds in portions of North Texas. In fact, it got up to 99 already at Paducah, Kentucky. But 60s, low 60s in the northern part of our state for highs today. And that's about what we'll do tomorrow. Looks like we're going to fail to make 70 degrees today, more than 10 degrees below normal. The low this morning of 55 was just about normal, but check out that 43 record low. We're going to be in that vicinity by sunrise tomorrow. Sunrise will be at 6:23 and 8:09. Sunset, of course, this is not totally unprecedented. Back in 1816, it was called the year without a summer in the east, and on this date, from interior of New England down to North Carolina, frost wiped out much of the corn crop. And there is going to be a little bit of frost, perhaps in northern North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota tonight. So, tomorrow, well, what are we going to see? Low 70s and 60s for highs. So if you're going up north to the cabin, if you're not already there, it's going to be a little chilly. But as we said, summer's doing fine down there, still in the sticky upper 90s throughout much of the Gulf Coast. By tomorrow, the high-pressure system will be centered right over us. It's going to begin to move off to the east, and that means we're going to return into increasing cloudy conditions on Monday, but we don't expect any major weather news for the next few days. Where will the precipitation be? It'll be to the south and west of us, plenty in the Panhandle and around Colorado and the southeast, but it looks like it should escape hitting Minnesota at least for another 24 to 48 hours. And it was a beautiful day to have the dinghy or the canoe out on the lake, and a little bit breezy, though. Those wind gusts were up to near 25 miles an hour. They've dropped down to about 18 now. Under mostly sunny skies, a chilly, at least it seems chilly, 68-degree temperature. And the dew point is 46, 45% of saturation. That's real dry air. Barometer strong at 30.30, and it's rising. So for the remainder of tonight, just mostly fair, quite cool. A few thermometers in the metro area could get down as low as 45 degrees. Northwest winds will be light. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy, and cool. Only 72 for high. Northwest winds occasionally up to 25 miles an hour midday. Sunday night, clear and cool again, mid-40s. Then on Monday, increasing clouds, temperatures go up a few degrees. And as far as the rest of the week, we see a slight chance of showers Tuesday or Wednesday, and temperatures returning to more near normal for this time of year. But the really ugly heat and humidity should stay to our south, I think, for the next week or so.
And I noticed sunshine for the start of the state fair.
Of course.
Of course. The thrills and chills of water skiing played out this afternoon on Lake Phelan in St. Paul. Coors Light and Mastercraft sponsored a water skiing championship. Skiers competed in such events as slalom skiing and jumping. The winners of today's semifinals go on to the finals tomorrow afternoon at Lake Phelan.
Well, the Vikings playing at the Dome this evening, and the Twins wish they could get back to the Dome.
Let's not
right
even
now.
talk about the Twins, okay?
Right.
We'll talk only about the Vikings.
Okay.
Things are not going well, folks, as you know. We will talk to Mark Rosen. We will talk Twins. Bad news and all.
Operator, I've been calling this number. I gotta have delivery today.
A cruise on Norwegian
Norwegian Caribbean lines can do wonders for your memory. You'll forget just about everything. Norwegian Caribbean lines, the world's best way to disconnect the world.
A new type of talk show debuted in 1967, where the audience made the show. Almost 20 years later, after 18 Emmy Awards and a George Foster Peabody Award, Donahue is still timely, is still fresh, and always spontaneous. For 2 special weeks, Donahue is at 8 and 9 in the morning. 2 different topics each day through September 4th. Donahue and You on WCCO Television, Channel 4. Experience the energy, the excitement, and the enduring popularity.
I'm a big-time guy.
Next on Channel 4.
The Twins made it 5 in a row today. 5 losses in a row, that is, losing 6-5 to the Red Sox in Fenway Park. The loss gave the Twins a road record of 24 wins and 41 losses. And would you believe they're still in first place in the American League's West Division race? But the lead is now down to 2 games over the Oakland A's, who beat the Yankees for the 2nd straight time today. When things start going sour, sometimes it seems like even your own teammates are after you. In the 3rd inning here today, take a look. Steve Lombardozzi nearly took a roll of his mates right off the bench when he let the bat fly. Bert Blyleven retrieved the bat. Give us a break. And Kirby Puckett, who usually steals hits from the other team, got a taste of his own medicine today when Ellis Burks robbed him of at least a single. Never get into a home run contest with the Sox in Fenway. They have the range on that green monster. Dave Henderson did the 2nd of 2 home runs in the 4th to make it 3-0 Boston here. Boston led 5-2 after 6 innings when the Twins leveled the count on Gaetti's blast. Gary took Bob Stanley downtown with his 26th home run of the season, and it came with 2 men on, gave Gaetti 90 runs batted in for the year, and gave the Twins temporary hope that they might be able to snap that horrendous losing streak in the road. But that hope didn't last long. Here's Wade Boggs at bat in the bottom of the inning. Les Straker put the pitch in the outside edge of the plate. Boggs reached for it and got the big end of the bat to make contact. That sent the ball out of the park and nailed down the 6-5 victory for Boston. The Twins have one more chance tomorrow to salvage a win before coming home to face Detroit on Monday night. So much for that 5-game lead. The Twins once held. The Oakland A's are now just 2 back. Kansas City and California are 4 games behind the first-place Twins. And as we say, at least the Twins are on the way home. And it may be good news tomorrow, it may not. Detroit's going pretty well. The A's moved to within a pair of the Twins with an impressive 6-0 rout of New York today. Mark McGwire gave Oakland a 2-zip lead with a single here in the 3rd inning. The Yankee bats were silent against Gene Nelson, who earned only his first win as a starter in nearly 2 years. He allowed 4 hits in 6 innings. The suicide squeeze brought home another run coming up. Take a look. Dwayne Murphy laid it down, and Terry Steinbach scored easily. New York is now 4 out of 1st in the East. Here are the scores from this afternoon in the majors, just a skimpy schedule. Oakland beat New York 6-0, and Detroit topped Cleveland 8-6. In the National, in the 10th, Chicago and Houston are tied at 4. Philadelphia beat the Dodgers 2-0. Well, from major leagues to 13-year-olds, East Tonka from Minnetonka won its first-round game in that Babe Ruth World Series. They beat Marva, Maryland, in the last inning at Lebanon, Missouri. East Tonka will play again tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Well, the Vikings will have their 2nd trial run before the regular season. They play host to Indianapolis in about a half hour in the Dome. Now, Channel 4 will telecast that game. We'll start at 7. Mark Rosen is there for the play-by-play. And, Mark, will it be any different? Will they crank it up tonight, maybe?
Oh, I think so, Tony. As you know, the guys like to put on a pretty good show when they're at home. I had a chance to talk to Jerry Burns just a short time ago. The Vikings actually started this day in Mankato, the site of their training camp, and just bust and car their way here into the Metrodome for a short little walkthrough on the new artificial turf. This is actually really the first game the Vikings will experience the new AstroTurf 8, and they're anxious to see how it still feels to fall on this stuff. They're playing the Indianapolis Colts. Sort of a surprise team. I say that only because they've won their last 4 games, their last 3 regular season games, and they won their first preseason game last week against Detroit. Wade Wilson will again start at quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. He looked very, very sharp in the first half during the Vikings' loss at New Orleans last week, throwing a couple of touchdown passes here. Wade has been exceptionally sharp again this week at camp, and he figures to play about the first half. Rich Gannon, Brent Pease will follow at some point during the game. About the only change in the offensive lineup, Alfred Anderson will not play. Alan Rice will start at halfback along with Darren Nelson. Defensively, the Vikings are bolstered by the return of Joey Browner and Ike Holt, and also Ray Berry. And this is a guy to watch, number 50 tonight. Their number 2 draft choice out of Baylor, who's very, very promising rookie, and they're going to take a good look at him at linebacker. Of course, all the coverage coming right up at 7 o'clock here on Channel 4.
Okay, that's about a half hour. We'll hear from you then, Mark. Well, Cuba continued to dominate the boxing today in the Pan Am Games. They won 5 of 6 golds. One of those medals should have gone to Kenneth Gould of the U.S. Gould in the dark top really took it to Juan Lemus, but the judges gave the Cuban the decision. The announcement soundly booed. The American baseball team is hoping for better results against Cuba. They lead 9-8 after 7 innings. During a thunderstorm, the U.S. took a 2-zip lead. Now, the storm not only delayed the game, but, watch, caused CBS to scramble for cover because of a lightning strike. It hit right there. John Dockery found himself in a hole. Let's listen.
Stadium. Hard to tell whether it was lightning or it was some kind of an explosive, but the game has been stopped. Throw it to Brandt. Throw it to Brandt.
No technical difficulty here as Sabrina Marr of California, the 17-year-old, was the surprise winner in the women's all-around gymnastics. Marr scored 9.875 with this brilliant routine, and we are laughing in sympathy at the troubles those guys had. Many of the best 3-year-olds went for a big share, the $1 million added in the 118th running of the Travers Stakes today. It was a wet, sloppy track, and Java Gold, winner of 3 wet track races this season, made it number 4 with Pat Day up. Take a listen.
Down the stretch they come. Crypto clearance in front ahead, but Java Gold with a sudden burst of speed. Pat Day aboard, drives up, takes command. Crypto clearance in second, but it's Java Gold, putting it just like his daddy did. Java Gold wins the 87 Travers by about 2 lengths. Crypto clearance.
Kind of wet out there, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Sloppy one. All right. Thank you, Tony. And we hope to see you tonight on the 10 p.m. report after the Vikings game.
Thanks for joining us.
When you're young, you only think about your goals, your dreams. But once you have a family, your future doesn't seem nearly as important as theirs. Their dreams become your dreams. You make sacrifices, not minding a bit. And you buy life insurance to make sure their dreams can come true. That's why American Family Insurance says, you don't buy life insurance for you, you buy it for them. Look in the white or yellow pages for the American Family agent nearest you.
Come on, baby, let's do the twist. Come on, baby, let's do the twist. Take me by my little hand and go like this.
What do I have to do to get your attention?
Wait till I'm done with this.
Introducing the cool twist from Hardee's. Chocolate and vanilla together or apart. All new, all from Hardee's.
I'm Harry Sieben. I'd like to tell you about an important addition at Sieben, Gross, and Von Holtum. Former federal Judge Miles Lord, a proven advocate of your legal rights, has joined us. We've always been known as the law firm for injured people that want to know their rights. The addition of Miles Lord will make us even more effective in representing you. So if you've been injured in an accident, on the road, at home, or on the job, contact us for a free consultation. We assure you maximum protection of your legal rights.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Look at this studio, filled with glamorous prizes, fabulous and exciting merchandise, including this charming 15